something's going on. Like, there's something weird going on. I can feel it. And I'm worried that it's Peter Thiel building this post-democratic America and that we're just letting him do it. Like, he's one of the most quietly dangerous political forces in America, and it's not because he's trying to win the current system, it's because he's trying to replace it. Many of you may not be all that familiar with old Peter Freedom Eater's name, but you're probably familiar with his work. He is the CEO of Palantir, which is the company that has been all over the news lately. But in order to truly understand why it is that Palantir has been all over the news lately, you first need to understand who Peter Thiel is and what he believes in. Okay. See, Peter Thiel is not your typical Silicon Valley tech bro type, okay? He's not like, Zuckerberg, who is desperate to be liked all the time. He's not loud like Elon Musk, although the two of them did co-found PayPal together. He's closer in spirit to somebody more like Larry Ellison. He's secretive, strategic, and deeply ideological. He's what's known as a techno-accelerationist, which means that he believes that democracy has failed us all and that the only way forward is to speedrun its collapse and replace it with this whole new system, one that's ruled by a small elite group of clear thinkers who govern through data, capital, and force. And what makes him extra dangerous is how effectively he's putting all of this into practice. Not publicly, mind you, but through these parallel structures of power. In fact, one of the most criminally under-discussed parts of that structure is this shadow curriculum he's been building for years for this future government. And he's training loyalists through these growing ideological machines like the Claremont Institute, the Thiel Fellowship, which pays young talent to skip college and just build all these new tech startups in his worldview. Even supporting candidates like J.D. Vance and Blake Masters is not about supporting conservatives. Like, they're very much loyalists to Peter Thiel, and they haven't been quiet about that either. And Palantir, being Peter Thiel's company, is now deeply embedded in the US government, military, intelligence agencies, conflict zones. Like, it takes in massive amounts of data and turns it into real-time, top-down decision-making power. And this includes, but is not limited to, border enforcement, battlefield targeting, pandemic logistics, domestic surveillance. I mean, good God, no wonder Larry Ellison tried to buy the company from him back in 2016. Going back to Peter here, if Thiel's goal is to collapse the trust in public systems and replace them all with his own, then ask yourself, doesn't the current chaos start to feel a bit convenient right now? Even thinking back a few months ago, we had a journalist who was added accidentally to a war group chat. However that happens, you've got Republican senators admitting that they didn't even read the historic bill that they voted for. Like, be so for real, Marjorie Taylor Greene. What, you're somehow savvy enough to game the stock market but suddenly clueless when it comes to understanding and reading an AI bill that you helped pass? Now what, you're taking accountability? Since when do you do that? You've been wrong every day of your life and you've never taken accountability. And then there's Elon Musk, who's out there blasting Trump's big, beautiful bill as this disgusting abomination, and Trump, where's Trump? And Trump, who treats disloyalty like treason, saying just, oh, that's his opinion and shrugging it off. Really? I mean, the whole thing just muddies all these party lines and it fragments narratives. And look, maybe I'm just giving too much credit where credit is not due, but there's no way everyone's this stupid. Because when the government looks this stupid, like when all the people in charge start looking like clowns, except for you, Jeffrey, you're not included. When these guys start looking like clowns or crooks or both, for God's sakes, it doesn't just create chaos. It creates appetite. An appetite for something new, for someone to come in and clean up the mess. And guess who's just waiting in the wings? So say his name. Like, go on, say it out loud. Peter Thiel. Like, if he wants to reshape the world in his image so bad, then let's drag him out of the shadows and put him right in the spotlight. And I'm being so serious because if we don't practice calling these people out by their name, who are trying to replace democracy with something so much darker, colder, and more permanent, then we may never get the chance to speak at all.